Now, from Into Tomorrow, this is an ITTV special report.
Our next guest has unveiled a series of very cool 3D products and tablets. He is the European Marketing Manager with Viewsonic, James Coulson. James, welcome Into Tomorrow. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, especially when Horatio was out on the show floor and all the team is looking for cool things to talk about and who's introducing fun things that are not just an upgrade of something that's already been out or what have you. New stuff gets our attention first, and you certainly got our attention with these goodies. Tell me, first of all, about a 3D camcorder for consumers that is so small and so light. I thought when you handed it to me, it was like a dummy demo unit. And you said, no, it's actually a working model. And sure enough, I powered it up, and it's very cool.
No, it was basically, I'll hand it to you there.
Yeah, just so I can have Chris show on camera what it looks like as you describe it.
I was just going to say, it's so easy to use, any idiot could use, so then no.
Oh, well, thanks, and then you hand it to me. Very good. I like him already.
No, it's what we recognise, Viewsonic, is we're historically known as a display expert. So a logical step for us is to take our key core competencies into display technology and see how we can innovate those in newer technologies and newer customer requirements as they come along. What you have there is a 720p 3D camcorder, but it's not just 3D, it's a 2D camcorder as well. It switches between the modes. We've got very simple button design, so it records either in still or camcorder format. Mm-hmm. You can come in and out of 3D just with a click of a button, but it has an inbuilt auto stereoscopic display, so it allows you to preview the clip that you've just recorded, preview live in 3D.
And in fact, I'm just going to, Chris, give you a little warning here. I'm going to lift this to James' face. We're in 3D mode on this. For those of you driving in your car listening on radios, have no fear, because you can come by the website anytime at your leisure and actually watch the videos of all of our interviews. But here's a good example. We can almost see in our high-def 2D video that we're recording this in, we can almost see the 3D effect. And being in 3D mode, and as you mentioned, pushing one button just brings you right back to 2D. So you don't want everything in 3D. But a lot of cool things that you can. Tell me also about these additional availabilities here. Looks like we've got a USB capability. We've got SD card.
No, that's not USB. That's HDMI out.
Oh, I'm sorry. So even better.
So this will plug straight into any display device, and either display in 2D or 3D if it's capable.
Yeah.
We have a standard USB dongle that sits out for connectivity here.
Gotcha.
And we have an SD card which can be inserted in any of the 3D
so
or
pop it out of the camcorder, throw it right into the television.
If you've got
watch.
3D enabled TV, you can be up and running straight away. So the concept behind this is to take 3D. At the moment, there's a barrier of entry for 3D. 3D, as soon as it becomes easier to use and easy to implement through standards and stuff. So what we've done is tried to come up with something at a very good price point, very easy to use, gives you a real taste of what you've just bought a $3,000, $5,000 3D setup or future-proofed your product. To spend another $250 to then actually create your own content, is very compelling. But that content can also be converted back into 2D, so you'll never lose it.
Well, sure. And you guys, obviously, some forward thinking here, realizing that there's this gap in content of 3D. So if you got a 3D set, record some of your own stuff, but you don't want everything in 3D, as we mentioned.
No.
So it's easy to go to 2D right there on the camera and say, that's fine. Or maybe you're recording it for grandma who doesn't have a 3D set. So you're going to go to 2D for that birthday party video.
Yeah, we support it. Well, we also support a number of 3D technologies in this. So even if you didn't have a true 3D set like the current shutter technologies or polarized technologies out there, it'll also convert it to anaglyph, which is the old-fashioned cyan and blue glasses.
Yeah.
So even just for a bit of fun, you could see what it potentially would look like as well.
That's true. But by the same token, you don't need the glasses to be using the camcorder.
No,
it's great.
It's auto stereo. It's probably the latest iteration that we can find of glassless 3D technology.
Yeah. And again, for those listening, unable to see yet on the video, then realize that, let me describe to you, it's about the size of a thick smartphone. Would probably give you a better idea, because we're talking about it being not your typical camcorder kind of thing. I'm being recorded in 3D. Let me reach out for you.
You'll find that the other thing about owning a 3D camera, you'll figure out that very, very quickly you have to kind of change or reskill yourself about recording, so you can't move around as much. But you need your subjects to move around more to give the illusion. So it's a good learning curve. It's a good learning curve.
I'll spin and move and come forward and back and just wave my hands and go crazy. And of course, reaching out to you. Now, as I reach to the wrong camera, there we go, reaching out to you. We're not seeing it in 3D except on this camcorder, which is very cool. Now, before we run out of time, we got to talk about your tablets as well. Because folks, while they're clamoring to see the 3D camcorder for consumers, at what price point, real quick?
Well, from Viewsonic, we're saying no more than $249 or £199. You know, around about that space.
Okay.
That's what we're aiming to be.
Wow.
We need to find our channel. Exactly. At the end of the day, we want it to be a really good and first enjoyable experience in creating your own 3D concept. We need to make it achievable for people.
And available hopefully by the holidays?
Definitely.
Okay. And by the way, lighter than a smartphone. I mean, lighter than an iPhone, as I'm holding it even. So there you go. Now, let's talk about the tabs. You got a 7-inch tablet and getting a lot of attention. Absolutely.
This is our ViewPad 7. This is the one I'm going to steal as soon as this show's over.
Yes, I'm sure, because you're assuming I'm going to let you leave with it. So this is the 7-inch.
Yeah, ViewPad 7. It's got it's what we would position this as a true communications device. It's not just a tablet. It's a full-on phone as well. You know, so
check that out.
So obviously you wouldn't hold that against your head. Well, you could hold that against your head.
You could, yeah.
And but we would say that that's a full 3G wireless, Bluetooth capable, Android 2.2, and it's just perfect size in your hand. It's only 300 odd grams.
And of course has a camera. Does it have a front cam
Front
as
and
well?
back cameras, yeah.
Front and back cam. So look, I can hold it like that, and you can even see James on the device itself. Now, as if that wasn't enough, a 7-inch tablet, you've also introduced a 10-inch tablet here.
So this is aimed at a completely different type of user. This we would describe as a PC-to-PC device for the home. But the most interesting thing about this, and we recognize with our users, this is a dual booting Windows 7 Home Premium or Android 1.6 experience.
So both operating systems are on here.
Yeah, it's a 16 gig solid state disk, 1 gig DDR3 RAM, running with a Atom 1.66 processor. Super fast experience, long battery life though because we've gone for single core, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, lots of connectivity options, even mini VGA you've got there. So, but we recognise that users may want to have an Android experience, very slim. So they've gone for 1.6. You might browse, but then you may want to use your VPN, your Outlook, content creation. That's actually got Media Center running. That will run Media Center there. Yeah, that's
and real quick, because we're way out of time, but the 7-inch is running 2.2 Android.
2.2, and that's 1.6.
Why not 2.2 for the bigger one?
That's a good question. Well,
of course it's a good question. That's why I'm the host. But
no, the 1.6 is because if we put 2.2 there, it's almost two conflicting fully fledged operating systems. We want the user to either have a really good Windows experience or just dip out into Android for what it was really, initially intended, an internet browser and very slim experience.
Gotcha. And again, the 7-inch tablet is about 13 ounces. The 10-inch about 29.5 ounces to give you some good idea.
That's right.
And quick prices, 7-inch?
The 7-inch we're saying no more than €399 or £349.
Okay.
And this is at €549.
Okay, for the 10-inch larger. And all of these things available by the holidays, hopefully, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Check it out at Viewsonic.com, and more specifically for these items, since James is the European marketing manager, at ViewsonicEurope.com. We'll give you those links when you hit us up at IntoTomorrow.com. James, thanks for joining us. Good stuff. Keep making cool products. We'll keep talking about them.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
Back with more from Berlin and IFA. I'm Dave Graveline. Into Tomorrow continues on the Advanced Media Network.